has tracks, but it doesn't travel on them. It rises above, just a centimeter in the air. And without friction to slow it down, it reaches speeds approaching 400 miles an hour. This train is no dream. It's a genuine miracle of levitation. And it's the brainchild of a scientist whose career was made and then broken by his obsession with levitating machines. Eric Laithwaite was an engineer, a prolific inventor who in 1964 became a professor at Imperial College London. His interest in levitation was to bring him both ridicule and acclaim.
Switch on.
Laithwaite's greatest invention was the linear motor.
The linear electric motor is a very simple idea. It's just an ordinary electric motor which has been unrolled. You put the aluminium plate on the surface and switch on. And the effect of the force is now quite obvious.
When a current passes through an electric motor, it creates a magnetic field. And Laithwaite used this magnetic field to lift his machine in the air. With no friction to slow it down, it was capable of great speed. Laithwaite realized that his linear motor would be an ideal way of driving a train. And with all the enthusiasm of a young boy playing with a construction set, he designed a model to show how it could be done.
This is a device that's nothing more than a small electric motor and an aluminum disc that I salvaged from an old disk drive. Now, this is one of our magnets. And as you can see, the magnet is not attracted to the aluminum at all. It won't stick to it in any way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to power it up. And a very curious thing happens when the magnet gets near the moving aluminum. The magnet will induce a current in the aluminum. And that will create a magnetic field that will move the magnet. The magnet will be dragged along by the aluminum, even though it's not touching it at all. And the aluminum cannot be picked up by a magnet. The magnet is actually being dragged along by its mirror image force in the aluminum. This is the same principle used for the magnetic levitation trains that they're building presently. They have a series of aluminum tracks and a set of magnets within the train itself, which are switched on and off and moved rapidly. The field induced in the aluminum rail causes the train to levitate over the aluminum track.
It will cost billions to put these trains into service. But Eric Laithwaite's invention may save billions in an even more ambitious mode of transport.
Magnetic levitation is not science fiction. It's real. And we're going to see this technology used to carry people into space.
Faster than a rocket, and using a fraction of the energy, the Maglifter will be the first reusable space launcher. But just as the inventor of magnetic levitation, Eric Laithwaite, should have been enjoying the fruits of his success, he took a turn in his career, which was to destroy his reputation. It was a possibility of a completely different means of levitation which now captured his attention. It would preoccupy him for the rest of his life. His findings would lead him deep into controversy and put fellow scientists in a spin. What had caught his imagination was the gyroscope. And what interested him about gyroscopes was the way in which they appeared to lose weight when they began to spin.
A gyroscope is a curious device in which conventional physics seems to go out the window.
Laithwaite was invited by the Royal Institution in London to lecture fellow scientists in a talk for television. But when they heard what he had to say, his lecture was suppressed. Some years later, he recreated it for the BBC. His controversial theory was that a spinning gyroscope contradicted Newton's laws. With no source of energy apart from its spin, the gyroscope appeared to resist the force of gravity and lose weight.
There is no way I can pick that up with one hand. Not above there. I'm not a strong man. I don't think for weight training. But when it's spinning, it's another matter. Release it, and it begins to climb almost on its own. No strain on my arm at all.
He believed the gyroscope induced a kind of weightlessness. But fellow scientists did not agree.
One of the things that makes Eric Laithwaite's finds controversial is that he discovered what appeared to be a force that negated the weight of the gyroscope, or seemed to make its mass vanish.
So had Laithwaite come up with an anti-gravity machine, a device which could rise in the air without a source of energy to propel it.
So can you lift a 50-pound with one hand, or can you?
The issue has never been fully resolved or even satisfaction. Most people believe it absolutely didn't work, and others believe that it worked very well, and there was a conspiracy of some sort to cover it up.
But though Laithwaite's career ended under a cloud, his old interest in the levitating powers of electromagnetism had inspired a new generation of scientists.
Everything around us is magnetic. It's basic property of the whole matter, of the whole universe. If we use strong enough magnetic field, we can levitate basically anything: plastic, water, strawberries, spiders, frogs, name it.
So is human levitation within our grasp?
Yeah, now it levitates.
With great